She's your queen to be, a queen to be forever, a queen who'll do whatever His Highness desires. She's your queen to be, a vision of perfection, an object of affection to quench your royal fire.
Hi, and welcome to episode 5 of Beauty's Queens Random Thoughts, Happenings, and Ideas. I'm your host, Beauty. Today, my random thought would be about communication. I was just thinking about how you tend to communicate, or basically how I tend to communicate with people, and how effective it is, and my style of communication. Now, for me personally, I am pretty aggressive and straightforward. I don't really like to leave things to the imagination, or to leave things uncovered, so to speak. Um, and it's mainly because I know that a lot of people are the same in ways, and my imagination runs wild. Like, I just be thinking everything. So I just like to get my mindset or my thoughts of about something. Not, I just don't want to say everything I think in my mind and just to communicate it. Even though you catch me on one of those days, I'm like a little chatty Cathy, and it's like, she shut up, you talk so much, my throat is dry. But I'm not always like that. But what I'm saying is, with friends or family or associates or co-workers or whomever that you may be in communication with, even children. And a lot of times I've realized in my lines of communication, even though I am straightforward and don't really like to beat around the bush with stuff, not everybody is like that. And then therefore I have sometimes a battle with communicating, because even though I would rather, hey, let's talk about it, let's get it off our mind, let's see where your head is at, let's speak our mind, let's speak our hearts. That's me. And then some people will rather stand off, or they don't wanna express their feelings for whatever reason, or they're kind of passive and just kind of want it to settle itself. So where do you go from there? That's my question. My question is, how do you communicate effectively with a loved one, with a child, with a coworker, with a friend, with somebody who is possibly opposite from you or exactly like you? Like, if I have somebody who is exactly like me with communicating, saying the things that they say, I think that unless it'll be a battle about um, how we feel in a way that I don't agree. I want you to see my way, you want me to see your way. We're talking about it, but we can't seem to agree. Then that's a different type of a miscommunication versus um, somebody who want to speak their mind and somebody who don't, or two people who don't want to speak their mind, who said something or did something in some kind of way that gave a person a thought or a feeling of something. I had a couple of miscommunications throughout my life, and even recently. And what I was thinking, and which made me come to my random thoughts and do my video blog about it, was, how do you effectively communicate, and how do you know when to how do you know when to effectively communicate? Um, Even if two people who can speak reasonably and debate or conversate rationally with one another, if the time is off, that communication will still not be good. And I've had relationships like that when, I felt one way and a person felt another, and we just couldn't seem to get eye to eye on a communicating. It's like, oh, you want to just be settled. I just want you to know this, and but it's like actions and words supposed to line up, but a lot of times they are very different. Your words and your actions. Uh, it's a very touchy subject because in communicating is no a plus b equals c, or it's no one two and two is four. It's not that in communicating, because everybody's heart and mind and thoughts are different. Like, even if I can agree with somebody, like I have a person in my life who most of the time we just agree, we kind of see, but we are two very different people in a way, like in our styles of communication. But I always say, know your personnel, because if you know who you're dealing with or how the person is that you're dealing with, then you can kind of communicate more effectively. But a lot of times we don't take into thought, or we can't hear knowing our personnel. We can't hear what to be effective with knowing our personnel, because uh, we get so caught up in what we want to see, or what we want to do, or how we feel. And sometimes time is the answer to our question, or time is the answer to the spat or the disagreement or whatever. But then when you think about it, you say, it's the saying that goes, time heals all wounds. And it's true, your wound could be healed, but it's like it doesn't remove the scar. Sometimes it is a scar there. Um, and, somebody say, for instance, an example. Where'd you get that scar from? And then you remember the time that it hurt or how much it hurt, but you still have a scar to remember. And it's the same way when you have a miscommunication with somebody, and over time you can probably get along, get smile and hang out, or love one another again, but that scar is still there, and it's reminded whenever things go haywire. Like, if you have a scar from a bike, well, that's probably a bad example. Say something more extreme that happened. Maybe you got pushed off a porch or someplace high, and now you have a fear of heights. You have fear with your scar, but time healed your wound, but it's still something that reminds you of that, or something that takes you back to that place, that makes it not all the way the same. And even if you don't have fear with it, you still have the scar. I know that I can sometimes ramble, but it's just like, it's a heavy thing to think about, and it's just something that was on my mind, because the biggest problem between relationships, friendships, loved ones, parents, siblings, family members, whomever, is a lack of or effective communication. And you would think, oh, well, if this is such a big deal, why don't we work on it? Well, I can't necessarily tell you why, but I can say that it's probably the biggest problem that you have. So know your personnel and work on communicating effectively with the people, or what you know about the people that you communicate with. That is my time, and I am TWO.